Hi guys, exeter-rider here. Hope you're doing well and keeping busy during lockdown. For me, I've been sorting out my old Volkswagen T4. I've been lining it out and sorting out some seats and sockets and spotlights and all things like that. So it used to be my van, my work van, which I've had, well, I bought this in 2001, brand new. So it's done quite well. It's only done 100,000 miles and I'm turning it into a family wagon now. But anyway, I'm digressing there. Right, so this week is the highlights over the last year on exeter-rider, and some points which I probably didn't bring up before perhaps. I've got Bike of the Year, which is coming up in part 2, and a few other things. I will put links up the top here to the bikes, and I can only get 5 links in, I think. If you just click the link above there, when you watch the video, then it will take you straight to that particular review. But this is part 1 of 2. I'm trying not to make it into a 3-parter because that just gets a bit boring then. But I'm going to put this one on, part 1 on today, and then next week it will be part 2, okay, which will be Bike of the Year, and I can't remember. But here's part 1. Thanks for watching in advance. Thanks for supporting the channel. Like and subscribe would be wonderful, much appreciated, and I'll see you next week. Run VT. The first one I want to do is the best looking bike that I've ridden within the last year, and that has to go to 2 bikes actually. The 2 bikes that I am talking about best looking is the Honda 500 CBR, and there's a joint place for it as well because I think there's 2 in this category. The other one is the BMW 1250 RS. You know, every little part of the bike is so stylish, so nicely designed, and when you put every little part of those bikes together, they turn into something wonderful to look at, I think. I think they are absolutely fantastic. Now, going on to the CBR, the Honda, I think that is one of the best A2 compliant bikes that I rode last year. The reason for that is not only the looks are fantastic, but also it handles very well as well. The dash was nice on it. It was a good bike to learn on because there wasn't too much power there, but there's still enough to have a lot of fun. And also, not only that, but it's a good bike to learn on. You can really hone your craft on a bike like that with that power band. It was a safe bike in the respects of it was a very stable bike to ride, and it handled very well. The feedback from the steering was brilliant. The suspension was set just right. It wasn't sporty suspension, but it was set in a good happy medium, again, to learn on and learn how to corner properly. And as an A2 bike, the seat comfort was fantastic. It was probably the second most comfortable bike I rode last year. It was an all-day comfortable seat, and which surprised me because on sports bikes they generally are, they do get a bit numbing after a while, but that CBR, it was brilliant. It was perfect, almost perfect on seat comfort. Now next we go on to the BMW 1250 RS. Again, a stunning looking machine. Very, very nice, and in fact it looks even better in the flesh than what it does on the video here. But it was, again, it's a total different beast, of course it is, from the CBR. It was actually the first shift cam bike that I rode, and I certainly noticed a difference when you open it up. It was a very quick bike, but it was a sort of bike that would get you there quickly, but not so much in a thrilling way. It's not a blaster, shall we say. Although it was at the same time, if you wanted to ride fast, then it would get you there very fast. But it was so refined and smooth that you wouldn't really feel it. When you open it up, you could be doing 70, 80 miles an hour. That happened once. And you get desensitized a little bit from it because it is so well built. It's very stable again. The only slight downside with that bike was I did find that on slow speed turns, such as U-turns, it did tip in a little bit heavily on slower turns. So, and also there was quite a bit of weight on my hands there. So all those things aside though, to look at that bike, it was a beautiful machine. And that's why it's near the top of the list for the best looking bike that I've ridden over the last year. Okay, moving on to the retros. Now I've got three categories here, and the first one I'm going to go for is the best value retro motorcycle of 2019/2020. And that goes to the very popular Royal Enfield Intercepter 650. Now, Royal Enfield in 2019, since the beginning of 2019, made a massive impact on the industry. They were highly anticipated and they have cornered the market very, very well, and they are a force to be reckoned with. They have, since 2019, they had a great year in 2019, launching the Interceptor and the GT650. And I think 2020, that's only going to get stronger. Now, I couldn't wait to get on a Interceptor 650. I have a lot of experience with the Bonnevilles, the Triumph Bonneville T100 and T120. Both are great bikes, and the Interceptor filled a gap which I think perhaps Triumph should have filled a long time ago. I was saying for many years that they need to bring out a 650 because it seems to go hand in hand, that style bike with a 650cc capacity motor. It just seems to make sense to me. When you look back in the old days, whether it was the Triumphs or the Royal Enfields, they all had engines around that side, and certainly the BSAs, for example. I think they had 2 or 3 BSAs which were 650s, including the Lightning. So the things I like about it really are, firstly, what blows everything out of the water is the cost of the bike. At the time when I test rode it, you could pick one up for £5,500, which is incredible value for a bike that's built very well. It's very strong, the finish is great, and it's the sound of the exhaust, the clutch is nice and light on it. You can have a lot of fun on that bike, but at the same time, it's not a rocket ship, but it's just a lot of fun power within that twin engine. They've done a cracking job of getting that bike just right. And again, I think as time goes on and eventually, the confidence, consumer confidence within the Royal Enfield brand picks up even more, because I do think that it is still picking up and still developing. I think that those bikes will get more and more popular all the time, and so they should. The value that you get from those bikes is incredible. It's unparalleled with anything else. Now, I can't mention retro value for money bikes without mentioning the Benelli 400. Again, that is a bike which has filled a gap in the market, I think. So just to put you in the picture a little bit here, the Royal Enfield 500 Classic will be discontinued by the end of this year, okay? For Euro 5 reasons. But the Benelli 400 is Euro 5. That has come in at £3,700 on the road, which is an absolutely incredible price. I just can't get over how cheap that is. So I think that bike will fit a lot of pockets. Again, if you're A2 and that's your style bike, I think it's a very, very good choice and a very good one to go for. Yes, it wasn't perfect and it doesn't have the authenticity that you get from a Royal Enfield Classic 500. They've got their own personality with the Benelli, and that's fair enough. It's a great everyday bike, and you know, for plodding around at the weekend, it's fantastic too. Again, it's very, very much like the Classic 500. It's a very impressive machine, and it's a nice ride. It is a nice ride to plod around on. I was also impressed with the finish of that bike as well. It's all powder coated very well. And again, when you're paying £3,700 for a bike of that stature, you expect them to cut corners somewhere, but from my ride on it that time, I didn't see any corners cut. The only thing I can put down, you know, a downer to it really, is that the tyres seemed a little bit wallowy, and I felt they was okay in the wet. It's just because the wall of the height of the rear tyre is quite high. You did feel it every now and then sort of have a little dance behind if you put it under pressure. Again, it's not a deal breaker. It's still a great bike. Would I have one? Definitely yes. But it just isn't perfect. But overall, for that money, you cannot go wrong. If that's your first big bike, then it's a fantastic choice if that's your style bike. Now, just briefly, I want to touch on something which unfortunately I don't have the video for anymore, but I wanted to talk about the BMW Evolution electric scooter. It was something I was eager to try, and when I tried it, the only way I can word it is that this wasn't riding your normal scooter or even electric scooter. This was on another level. It was very luxurious. The mirrors were fantastic. They were a very good height. The windscreen was superb. I had no buffeting and hardly any noise at all off the screen. But most of all, it was the silence of the motor. It's quite a strange feeling. Anyone would understand who has ridden an electric bike would understand. You can't really explain it. And if that's the future, then I think it's going to be brilliant. I'm really looking forward to reviewing more electric motorcycles, and unfortunately I have got access to a Zero, but my local dealer that doesn't want to get involved in that for some reason. It makes no sense to me, but maybe they'll change their mind in the future. I don't know, but I certainly like to try a Zero, and I think I would have quite a lot to say on it, and I'd certainly enjoy it. But that's up to them. There you go. But yeah, that BMW, that Evolution was fantastic, and a very easy bike to overlook. It is a costly bike. I think it's around 13,000 or something like that. But when you think that you've got no fuel costs after that, and the comfort of it, and it is a fantastic bike, and I think it's very underrated and overall. So I'm hoping that in time that it may take off a bit more, maybe. But there's a lot to be said for it, and that's again something that I want to make you aware of. So thumbs up to BMW on the BMW Evolution. Ah. Oh, fuck it.